Dayton's the national champion if they played today. Boy, call me crazy, but I definitely think now that the coronavirus is manufactured. This is the Knights of the Black Lodge.
Hello.
That's all you get. Alright, this is Gray Fox 37.
And Pikachu 23.
And we got a special guest with us. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello everybody, this is the Maestro. This is Pikachu's 23's boyfriend, and I'm a guitarist. I have a YouTube channel called The Blind Musician. It has over 300 videos, and I have about 56 subscribers. So check it out. Just go on YouTube and search for The Blind Musician, and you will be able to see it on the channel.
I will provide a link below as well, so no problem at all. Yeah, he's got more he's got double the followers we have. Good job there.
And also keep in mind, it's The Blind Musician, not the one with the picture of the kid, because somebody tried to look for this before and had problems with that. So probably just use Gray Fox's link. It'll be easier.
No problem. We'll take care of that after we get this all uploaded onto YouTube. So far so good. We're still here, and especially even after posting a naughty game that we went through earlier. We didn't get to the H scenes or anything yet, but you know, basically, I'm still surprised that we're here with all the shit we pretty much talk. Oh, I just used a bad word. We're banned.
No!
But basically, at this point, today we decided, with all the panic that was going on, with how pissed off all of us are with the coronavirus and everything fucking things up for everybody, you know, we figured we'd just basically talk about what's been closed with it. Obviously, you can see on my screen, you know, what basically has been definitely closed from it there. And we're just going to kind of pitch through that. We're going to do a little catch-up first, basically. Let's see. I got licensed in this state, so I'm really, really happy about that. I got a very, 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 very high score on my test, so I'm super happy, and I'm licensed to kill now, so that works. I'm a 00 agent. That means I'm licensed to kill, not get killed. Let's see. We locked ourselves out of our car twice, both last Sunday after the toy fair and today after finally selling my 980 Ti video card. I wanted to strangle myself for that, but you know. And I even gave Pikachu the keys, and we locked those in the car too. Quite an odyssey.
I was stupid and sleepy and not paying attention.
And I was stupid and thinking, oh, I kept them on me. And then I was also stupid and thinking, oh, we just got everything on us. But, you know, shit happens. And, hey, shouts out to Christopher for taking 50% off the car unlock, because I didn't want to call Geico up and be like, hey, you think you could do something for me and, you know, do this a second week in a row for me? Toy Fair, we scored big. Pikachu got a cute Pikachu cap for $15 that has the long paws.
And then I also got a Garfield.
Yeah, she got a Garfield too. I got the Master Sword $60, and I just had to run a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser over the blade, and that got it nice and clean there. I picked up a Panzer VII King Tiger die-cast model tank for $25. I got Vegeta, a Super Saiyan God Vegito figure for $16. Got some crazy Saguaro Cactus for about $12, and then I got my favorite Seven Deadly Sins character, Belphegor, who's the sloth. She's the Lady of Sloth, basically. Plays video games, sits around, reads manga, eats potato chips. You know, sits around barely clothed. She's the perfect girlfriend. What were you saying there, Maestro?
Yep, I'm still here.
Oh, I thought you were saying something. I apologize. Maestro is live via satellite from Israel right now. So he decided to put himself in the fire for us. So he's like our in-the-field reporter today. Hence the lower volume. Yeah, we like to have fun on here. Here's here's our centerfold. The CTRG RP is going really well. We did our World War II and then our modern part of that. I'm going to take pictures of all of us holding weapons and stuff, and then just basically doing a kind of like a silhouette shadow color over on Photoshop, so it kind of looks like Strike Back when you see the intro with all of the cell shaded stuff that they do. So I figured we'd do that, and I'd put like CTRG in the middle. So I think that'd be pretty fun there. That's about it. I've just been working my ass off, so I haven't had much time to record because I had to study really, really hard and sacrifice video games and stuff, but was it worth it? Oh, yeah. And how about Pikachu? How's Pikachu's neck of the woods?
Minus everything that's already been said, not a whole ton, really. Mostly the biggest thing for me, because it's been going on a lot, is I found a lot of blind accessible computer games. I also found a couple for the phone. So kind of just mostly been doing stuff with that, and talking to a blind musician over there, so...
or the Maestro, we'll call him either or, no
Maestro is better because it's shorter.
Yeah, plus we remember him easier that way because it was from Seinfeld, basically, Maestro, you didn't have to do that. So, yeah, it's really good. But yeah, if Pikachu, if we can get him on my laptop, we'll definitely get down and playing on that, so that'll be awesome there. I did buy Mortal Kombat, the complete collection, 3D version, that's the better one. So Pikachu, we can watch her play that and, you know, get down on that there. And
it's a modern Mortal Kombat, so I should be able to actually play it without problems. Because I tried I think it was one of the
older
really,
ones
really
on the
old
Super,
ones, and it's too slow, so...
Yeah, we
end up hitting the air all the time.
We were going to do a recording of that, but unfortunately, you know, it was too slow. I didn't want to embarrass the both of us. Well, I played okay, but right. Basically, Pikachu also, I ran through we're running through the first two Knights of the Old Republic. We beat the first one, and we're going through the second. We would record it, but the thing is I cheat, and the reason why I cheat is I like to show her the in-depths of the story, like everything that could be missed in a run-through and everything. I really like to show it off. I've beaten that game so many times, you know, without cheating, that usually I just kind of like to do it. Like in Coder 2, I like getting the lightsaber early, I like getting robes early, you know, and it makes the dialogue funny. Plus, you can train people to be a Jedi faster in that. Yeah. So, but yeah, we've been having fun with that. So, she's completely beaten. What's so funny?
Just like some of the responses in those games are really funny.
Yeah, and I read the nasty responses really wicked. It's like, if you
don't
do what I say, I'll burn you all.
They're so like funny.
Yeah, they're pretty funny. We're going to do a dark side walkthrough. You know, we'll be doing a dark side playthrough, and we may just, I mean, if you guys, of course, I'll be cheating, of course, but we should probably record it so you could just see how sick and demented Pikachu gets sometimes.
I know, it'd be funny. Some of these people really annoy me, so sometimes I want to use the dark side options because they're irritating.
It's like on Swordfish, too bad, you gotta die. You know, and that's what some of the responses are like, too late, you die. You know, so we'll definitely do that there, and hopefully when the Maestro further up the road, we're not, you know, no time frame or anything like that, because hey, we're taking our time. When the Maestro further up the road seeks residency where we're at and everything of that nature, you know, we'll be rolling with him live, so, you know, he's not putting himself in danger with the Israelis and the Palestinians and everything like that, so that way you won't hear him being like, shh, shh, you know.
If you hear explosions, it's because he's near that temple district.
Right. And how about you, Maestro? What's been going on with you lately? Got any fun stuff to share?
Well, I've just been making a lot of YouTube videos, and people have been giving a lot of positive feedback to the channel, and, you know, it's something I really enjoy is making YouTube videos for people. I even go on my Instagram page, and I, you know, post the videos on Instagram, and people will comment and say things like, you know, you can make a lot of dollars on the street busking for people, you know, playing on the street for people, guitar and all that stuff. And the good news is that, you know, when we reunite soon, I'm actually considering getting it's by a company called Line 6. They have a pocket pod. It's a little amplifier in the palm of your hand, but it's probably the size of a phone, probably a few iPhones, but it has a bunch of buttons on it, and there's a bunch of output jacks. You can connect your guitar to it. You don't need an amplifier, so I can take this everywhere, connect it to Bluetooth speakers or computer, and it's really cool. I told Pikachu 23 about it. She's super excited, so we can use it at Jack's house, and we can jam out, and she can sing. It's super tiny.
Or
And that's
Boku.
right on top of your head.
Yeah.
Oh, Boku's house, yeah. It's okay. We prepped ahead of time for last name or middle name safety words, so no worries there. So I'm probably going to say his name for real, for sure. You know, it's great to have a talented person in our group because, you know, sadly none of us here have talent except for, you know, for the Maestro. So, but I kid, you know, we've got things that we make up for it in good taste, but no, we've got the little things on the side that everybody else does.
Yeah, the
so.
Maestro and I keep joking around. We need to create a band. Because I'm a singer and he does the guitar.
Pikachu's got pipes on her, I'll tell you that.
He can play the keyboard too.
Wouldn't you say, Maestro? I play keyboard too, like you said.
Oh, no, I was saying Pikachu's got pipes on her, wouldn't you say so? Singing, yeah, like singing pipes.
Jeez, Maestro, pay attention.
Maestro doesn't really know slang too well, does he? Just kidding, man.
A little bit, not so much.
It's all good. It's all good.
So I need to expose myself to you.
Yeah, no, sometimes he'll ask me questions. I'm like, you don't know this? What?
Hey, it's all good. Maestro's going to learn more things than he bargained for when we're done.
Oh,
well,
no.
I'll tell you, Maestro and I met about 10 years ago, give or take, maybe even further than that, and it was in a darker time of our lives where unfortunately we were still trying to feel each other out, and we kind of had negative connotations of each other. But then gradually, when we gave ourselves a second chance, thanks to a forced decision, I'll just keep it like that, basically at that point, Pikachu and I finally clicked, and then Maestro entered my life again, and I tell you, it's good to have another bro on hand. You know,
right?
Yeah, Boku and Ardith are my brothers in arms, and it's good to have a third brother in arm, and technically Pikachu's a fourth brother in arms, so there you go, because, you know, she's a cool tomboy, so there you go. Little sister and girlfriend rocks, what can I say?
Right?
Alright, so we've got all of our warm-ups. Hey, anything else you wanted to share, Maestro? Anything else exciting?
Not much, just making videos on the channel, you know, just looking forward to this video.
Alright, awesome, awesome. Well, hopefully it won't be too boring and stuff, but we're going to be cracking a lot of jokes about a super serial event and everything of that nature.
It's so serial.
So, if you've been living under a rock for the past, month, basically, there's a little something going around called the coronavirus. Now, apparently, it's only been affecting the elderly and people with respiratory or autoimmune deficiency issues. So, if you got the AIDS, you're dead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I'm such a horrible person. But anyway, essentially what's happening is that originally we were saying that children were being affected, but they're kind of starting to see a decline on that. Now today, Italy unfortunately has been having, been seeing the worst of it. America has had 62 deaths over it. Now, I mean, it's statistically, that's not a whole lot, but, you know, deaths are deaths, and it's not something that, you know, basically we're going to be thrilled over. Unless, of course, we're, you know, joking around and being ironic about something. But, you know, hey, to those who've lost their lives to the coronavirus, and yes, we're going to be serious for once here. To those who lost their lives to the coronavirus, hey, our hearts go out to you there. We wish the best. We wish the best for your families. So, you know, we hope everything's okay with you guys there. But to everybody else, just stay sanitized and stop hogging the toilet paper. That's all I can say in that case. So, I had a picture on my phone showing the super target that is up the road completely cleared out. So all the toilet paper, all the napkins, all the paper towels completely wiped off of the shelves. Dogs and cats are living together, mass hysteria, everybody's freaking out. Why didn't this happen with Obama and the H1N1 virus? I don't know. But
here's an ironic thing. I've never even heard of the H1N1.
Yeah, there you go. See, that wasn't
ago.
cool enough because, you know, Trump wasn't in office, so we couldn't blame Trump at the time, but now we can, obviously, because Trump's an evil dictator.
I know, right? Evil God Emperor Trump.
Evil God Emperor Trump, exactly. But, I mean, you know, you love him or hate him, it's not his fault. You know, that's the bottom line there. I mean, I support him to certain extents, but, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, you know, stop dicking around and stop blaming somebody you don't like, unless you have absolute proof. But, or if you're joking, you know, because it is kind of funny to say, like, oh yeah, Trump's patient zero, by the way, for coronavirus, you know?
That explains why he acts so weird.
So, I'm mad, and so we're gonna, before we get to the details of what's canceled, we're just gonna kind of do a round table here. I'm personally mad because, and you know, you're gonna laugh at this, March Madness was totally fucking canceled. I'm pissed off. This is the first time in its history since 1939, 1939, that's been canceled. It wasn't canceled during World War II, and in 39, that was roughly the time World War II, it was 2 years before World War II became official. This was, they didn't cancel the tournament for World War II. They didn't cancel the tournament for Vietnam. They didn't cancel the tournament for the Gulf War, anything like that. They didn't cancel the tournament for H1N1, for West Nile. I mean, you know, it's just like the whole thing where it's like, oh, Vietnam's going to be World War III. Oh, the Falkland Islands are going to be World War III. Oh, the Gulf War is going to be World War III. Oh, the Georgian-Russian conflict's going to be World War III. Oh, the Iraqi war is going to be World War III. Oh, Ukraine and Russia is going to be World War III. Oh, the U.S. and Iran is going to be World War III. We're still here, bitches.
Yeah.
Still here. Still here. So that's my little rant about it. You know, fuck you, coronavirus, and fuck you, Scared Nation, for ruining a basketball tournament. Yes, ruining a basketball tournament. Something that's, quote-unquote, not important. How about you, Pikachu? What are your thoughts on this wonderful thing?
So many things. Hold on.
All right. Pikachu's indisposed at the moment, so I tell you what,
Pikachu is
Maestro, we'll go to you, Maestro. Tell us how it's affected you.
Well, I've been scared shitless for the past 2 days.
Really?
What happened? And I don't know, man. Like, fear of dying and stuff. It's like the end of the world, and I had to call Pikachu 23. She's like, chill out, buddy. And,
yeah, really,
you know,
chill.
She calmed me down, and it helped a lot.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's good to have that emotional support. Yeah, we're here for you, man. Nothing to worry about there.
Yeah.
If anything happens, you know that I'll drive up there with her, and I'll put all three of us in spacesuits. Well, actually, all four of us, including our roommate. I'll put all four of us in spacesuits, and we'll fly to Mars, baby.
Okay, let's go to Mars.
yeah, get your ass to Mars. Then flash this Group Baker ID. Just do what I tell you. But
coronavirus.
So it's been panic for you and whatnot, but
Tell them about your family, what they're doing.
There you go. Go ahead.
Family, they've been stocking up on groceries, and they got like a month's worth of stuff.
And tons of toilet paper.
Out of toilet paper. We're really good. We were just preparing like it's World War III or something. Stocked up. So.
And tell them about what your brother did. With the joke.
Brother.
Yes, with the joke.
He pulled a prank, and he's like, guess what? I got the coronavirus. And,
yeah.
Like, well, don't joke like that. And it freaked me out. That's what got me into panic mode while I was in the car. So they even had to call Pikachu 23 and talk to her.
Yeah, his little brother is a little shit sometimes, so... It's true.
My little brother could be a shit sometimes himself, but we barely even talk now, unfortunately. So he's sadly, I won't go into detail because, it's his business and everything. He's sadly gone through a lot lately. I have, like, real feels for the guy right now, but, I mean, if he's got his own life and he can do whatever he wants, but I love him still regardless. I don't hate him or anything like that. It's just, he's got his own life. He wants to do his own thing, and I'm like, okay, cool, man. So... But that's, I mean, man, I guess if I were there, I probably would have been laughing and stuff. Like, I would have been like, Maestro, come on, man. Yeah. And you can call us, by the way, Maestro, you can call me Fox, and you can call Pikachu 23 Pikachu. We shorthand it. Yeah, it reminds me of basically when Boku's like, oh, that's a really good question, Gray Fox 37. Just call me Fox. It's like Snake Plissken. It's like, call me Snake. It's like, call me Fox.
Snake.
Snake. Dun, 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 yeah. Oh, ever since I showed Pikachu Metal Gear Solid, and whenever he dies, it's like, Snake, Snake. It's like, now she's totally hooked on that.
It's funny.
Anything else peeving you about it there, Maestro?
I just think, honestly, I'm not freaked out about it anymore thanks to Pikachu 23. It's awesome. And you, of course, Fox. And, one thing, my theory about all this is we're all going to get through it. Eventually things are going to settle down. Stores will start selling stuff again. And, a lot of people are freaking out, like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. So all those that are freaking out, relax, stay healthy, wash your hands, of course. We're going to get through it. eventually, by the time summer comes, everything's going to go back to normal. It's kind of like what happened with the swine flu, even though, it wasn't as bad as this.
Oh, there's another one. Yeah, the swine flu.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Thanks for reminding me of that.
The swine flu.
Yeah, thanks.
For sure.
And then, I mean, it's also kind of like the whole climate change thing. I mean, we've already got these climate change cultists and everything. Like, oh my God, Greenland had record ice. Greenland had record ice melt last year. They also had record frost last year too, which is just so funny. I tell you, it's just great how people will take these things to fear and panic monger others and just get everybody like worked up. It's insane. Even my job has a C-19 plan. Basically, they're just like, if it gets so bad, we'll have you guys work from home. It's like, well, that's awesome because that's what I originally was doing before. Yeah. That's the one thing I miss. I mean, I love my new employment, but I tell you, I really, really miss working from home, playing video games, because I've been working the same kind of hours that I had before, but unfortunately, it's dragging on so much that like I have a hard time staying awake sometimes because I'm just like, oh, this is boring the hell out of me. And then back in working at home, it's like, I'll just throw a video game on, that'll keep me going, and lo and behold, there you go.
Yeah, right?
But let's hear Pikachu. Pikachu, tell us how angry or upset or funny you think this is.
Okay, well, I'm going to start out with this. Oh my God, it's the coronavirus, we're all going to die!
Okay, so that's my little funny thing with that. Anyway, let's see. There's lots of things that I can say about this. The March Madness thing does bother me because, yes, Fox is into that more, but I did want to see what happens with people since it's been such a crazy season, and we'll get to that later. Let's see. Affected me. I had one day where I was hearing a bunch of things and I was getting kind of worried. Not as bad as Maestro, but it was kind of like, I don't know what to fucking think about this. And so then I went and, what?
Talking to somebody in the background.
Then I went to
talking to a Palestinian.
Yeah, right. Then I went to Fox and was like, so what exactly is the stuff on this? I had my mom actually call me. She's like, is everything okay over there and whatever? And I have a funny thing that somebody else reacted to this. I have an uncle that unfortunately has some paranoia problems. It's his business, so I'm not going to explain it. But he thinks it was manufactured. So
of course it was. It was manufactured so that way these underachieving team or these overachieving teams this year wouldn't be seen playing in the national championship.
Of course not.
But you know who really manufactured it?
Trump,
Florida.
Right? Oh yes,
Florida manufactured it, and the reason being is because they did it so Florida State would get the national championship. Yeah, right. And I'm not kidding, that's in the news. But anyway, go ahead and finish up there. Sorry.
So let's see. So we have those. I have several different emails about various things for this. I have 3 different bank emails about, oh, we're taking steps in our workplaces, and one of the bank locations actually got closed on one of them for the coronavirus shit. I also have another one for this blind, like, I guess it's an association. It's called USABA, and they had like this big goalball tournament thing that got canceled because of it too. I don't really follow that too much anymore, but there's that. Apparently they closed Disneyland too, from what it sounds like. Maestro was saying that they also closed some, they had, he lives with siblings, and they closed some of the schools for that too. And I'm like, oh wow, are you guys gonna literally shut down everything? I also have this theory that they're going to start delivering things by drones, and they're going to have people get new jobs now where they sit in a location and then control the drone.
Well, Amazon does that already, but there you go, like everybody drone.
Yeah.
So now we're going to basically see Craig's mom's bush finally. So
yeah,
that's
I know,
awesome.
right? Let's see here. So, honestly, I think this whole thing, yes, it's bad. Yes, it's deadly. Nobody says it isn't. But the way everyone's freaking out about it is fucking ridiculous.
Agreed.
I mean, also I was going to promote this here because I think it's a good idea. Anyway, I would have, like, I think if you want to start stocking up on supplies, probably not a bad idea just in case. And then I would also say start taking supplements to keep yourself healthier, just to be safe, like zinc, for instance. I literally have been on that stuff for over a year, and I have only gotten sick 3 times.
Ladies and gentlemen, get your multivitamins now.
Yes.
Pikachu said so. Pikachu's like the pill-popping mistress, so...
Supplements popping, damn it. You gotta get it right.
Get it right!
Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. You don't need to be sitting there freaking the fuck out about this. I also think it's ridiculous, personally, that an NBA player got sick and they closed the college tournament. I think that's kind of dumb, but that's how it is, apparently.
It pretty much spread out there, so yeah. Well, hey, thanks. Great food for thought. It's good. You see, this is Pikachu actually saying more than she's ever said at once in a video. So, round of applause there. Great. All right. Well, you know, when I'm not hogging the scene, but anyway. So here's what I mean. I carry things along, but I go on to tangents.
You hog the scene too much, damn it.
Yeah, I know. You know, I'm gonna time to stick this carnivorous earwig into my ear. All right. So here's a list, courtesy of the New York Times, of basically what's been happening, and this is updated as of March 13th. So on Thursday, Governor Andrew Cuomo, who's basically Fredo of New York, took the extraordinary step of ordering to end all gatherings of more than 500 people, with some exceptions. And the move forced to shut down a Broadway, halting the runs of 31 plays of musicals for at least a month. Wow. Boy. Yeah, listen to all the income that's going to be lost from all of this. On Friday, the Louvre Museum in Paris said it was closing until further notice. In New York, the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Museum of Modern Art announced the day before that they would temporarily close. MoMA's closure would continue at least through March 30th. Oh, that sucks. And the Met did not announce a target date to reopen. That sucks even more. Live Nation Entertainment and AEG Presents, 2 giants of the concert industry, suspended all of their North American tours through March. Man, I'm sure everybody's getting refunds, but that's why I'm saying, like, I hope everybody gets ticket refunds. We're
gonna end up in another fucking recession or depression or something because of this.
Yeah, I mean the stock market's tanking, but it's probably going to be back up sometime this week. Like, everybody's in this panic, and I said, let me tell you something, virus or not, the stock market is a roller coaster, and you just have to ride it through. I mean, I tell you, Trump at least has been helping out big time through the market. I've got to give him, credit for that there. So, it's awesome with him. Let's see. Dozens of other organizations, gathering, and cultural events have been changed in the last few weeks. So, basically, we're going to go in order here. So, we're going to start with sports. The NBA suspended its season after a March 11th game between the Utah Jazz and the Oklahoma City Thunder because a Jazz player tested positive for the coronavirus. The biggest question in the sports world is the Tokyo Olympics, set to begin in July. Japan and the International Olympic Committee have said the games will go on, but there have been discussions about a worst-case scenario, holding competitions without spectators, which originally was what they were going to do with March Madness, and I would have been fine with that. I wanted to at least watch them play, because, and we'll get to that in a moment, because we've got some really deep-seated issues with some of our sports teams about this.
Yeah.
Major League Soccer suspended its season for at least 30 days, beginning March 12th, less than 2 weeks after matches began on February 29th. Geez, well, I don't like soccer, but shit.
Yeah.
The season was scheduled to run through October 4th. The NHL also said that it was going to pause on its season, and they were in the Stanley Cup section there. Major League Baseball pushed its season opening by at least 2 weeks and suspended spring training games. Well, I don't really care about baseball.
Is boring.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless, it sucks. I mean, it's not only just for the players, like people who are concessions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's money out of your pocket. That just sucks. On Thursday, the NCAA canceled the men's and women's Division I basketball tournaments. This is the one that really pissed me off. And I'll tell you what. Arizona's men's team had an underachieving season. They had a lot of talent. But basically, what was the common theme that we were seeing that I was calling all season?
They were doing mostly okay, and then they lost by 1 point.
Falling short, yep. Arizona falls short. And I said after the St. John's loss, I said, get used to this title. every single game. And what do you know? Every single game we've lost, Arizona falls short. Arizona falls short. Twice to Oregon in overtime by 1 fucking point. And they blew it off of turnovers, missed free throw shots, and in the game in Eugene, bad calls. I was shouting at the TV for half an hour after the Eugene-Oregon game. I was shouting at the TV that those refs needed to be fired for calling 2 bad calls, a no call, and then basically a dead ball that shouldn't have happened. But then, of course, the turnovers didn't help us. And then, of course, you know, basically Miller can't call an inbounds last-second play if his life depended on it.
Nope.
I'm looking at you 2014 losing to Wisconsin in overtime.
Yeah.
So what hurts even more, though, Arizona's women's team had an absolutely incredible season.
Sucked.
Pikachu and I went to the NIT championship last year.
Yeah,
Arizona
it was fun.
won it all, and we said, wow, I think Arizona can do some damage next year in women's. They did more than damage. They killed a great UCLA team. They upset a legendary Stanford basketball team. They beat a really good Oregon State team. They beat the ASU, the rivals, twice. They sadly, the 3 times they played to Oregon, they lost all 3 times, but let's face it, Oregon's a superstar team, basically.
Yeah.
They almost won in Tucson, but hey, I tell you, they would have been a 3 and 4 seed and gotten a 2-round Tucson, Arizona matchup, which I probably, if I wasn't working, I probably would have taken Pikachu and me to go.
Yeah.
Maybe even Maestro, we could have swung it, but you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, fuck you, Corona. Fuck you, Corona! Fuck you, virus! Yeah. So that's what really sucks about it. All these seniors, too. All these seniors or people leaving for the NBA early, they don't get to live the dream. And it really, really sucks.
I know, right?
All that hard work. Dayton, historically, getting a #1 seed, which everybody was thinking, you know, what a season for them. 2 losses, and both of them they were 2 points away from being undefeated.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, there were just so many overachieving teams this year. Creighton came out of nowhere. Seton Hall came out of nowhere. Penn State for a bit came out of nowhere. Illinois was climbing up the ladder.
Duke really slumped.
Duke slumped.
Completely shocked me because they're usually like the top team.
North Carolina fell off the map with that Cole Anthony kid. You know, Notre Dame improved, but they were like on the outside looking, and they were like NIT bound, I felt, you know, unless they made a splash. You know, Texas Tech sadly slumped, Virginia slumped. I mean, hell, I had Virginia going out in the first round of Richmond if they drew that. We'll go over that bracket there in a moment, but Ohio State reemerged. Baylor came the hell out of nowhere. I was glad then when I saw that Arizona only lost by 2 points to Baylor at that point. I was just like, dang, they were #1 for a while, but then Kansas was the only team that played in a tough conference that seemed to stay consistent. I probably would have picked Kansas as the champs more than likely, but we'll get to that because we haven't really actually picked it. We're going to do live picks and just kind of go from there. But I tell you, it was really sad to have it all go down like that. Not just for the fans, but of course the players, the people making money on that and everything. Oh. Now, Vegas was generous enough to refund bets, from what I've heard, for canceled sporting events, so that's good of them, too. Because I remember a guy on my Arizona sports board said that he was getting a refund for the money he dropped on Arizona, and I said, well, that's good, because that was a mercy for a team that underachieved the entire fucking season.
Yeah.
So, we're going to continue on here. International sporting events have been canceled, basically, like the Hong Kong and Singapore Sevens, the Boston Marathon, Six Nations and Women's Six Nations rugby matches, 2 of the oldest sporting events. Even the Masters got delayed, you know, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Tokyo Marathon, you know, Greece barred spectators for a 2-week period from their sporting events. Italy, you know, you can't blame them because Corona's hitting Italy the worst, sadly.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty bad. And then, basically, like, major tennis opens have been canceled, so, you know, it's impacted sports. A lot of cultural events were impacted too. Basically, the Prime Minister of Italy announced that public gatherings were going to be banned, church services even. Even church services. You know, Italy's got major religious ties there. I wonder why.
Yeah.
You know, they're prohibited, basically. St. Patrick's Day parades canceled in Ireland, which is a drag.
That sucks.
Concert halls, opera houses, state-run museums, monuments, libraries. Austria banned indoor gatherings. I mean, even the Auschwitz Memorial, that was basically closed until March 25th, you know. And I mean, it's just it's a drag. Carnegie Hall, you know, pretty much was done there. Japan's Cherry Blossom Festival, bye. You know, Austin, Texas canceled their South by Southwest Festival because no tech companies were going to be there. It's basically a tech company get-together that happens in Texas. I've been to one of those. They're actually pretty fun. But nowadays, it's just basically a bunch of spoiled little millennials running around like, ooh, bless me, Twitter, bless me. So, bless me, TikTok.
Yes, TikTok.
The Tribeca Film Festival got canceled. John F. Kennedy Center of Performing Arts canceled. Disney World and Disneyland.
Yes, both of them.
All over the country and the nation, pretty much. Or, sorry, the world, but pretty much. Disneyland, Paris, cruise lines, they're canning everything. So, only fourth time in history Disneyland was shut down. My mom actually used to live out in Anaheim, and Disneyland was just up the road. So, good times.
It's basically the modern day version of the Black Plague.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, they should. I mean, you can't close. They shouldn't have closed the Renaissance Festival because that would have just been great. You know, coronavirus is running through. We're emulating the Black Plague.
Yeah. Maestro, are you okay over there? You haven't said anything in a long time.
I'm listening to you guys.
Yeah, Maestro's a polite fella. Don't worry, we'll get to him there. If at the end, I'll just see if anybody wants to chime in about what I'm reading off there. So no worries. Houston Livestock Show and Radio. I know Maestro's sad about that. Yeah, that's been canceled there. Tucson Festival Books. Well, that's like that affects us there, but I never really was a part of that. There's the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival in Southern California.
They're crazy over there.
The View basically had to tape their show. Oh, poor Whoopi Goldberg had to tape her show without an audience. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on CBS will be doing the same thing starting Monday.
I'm actually happy about that. I don't like him.
Right? So it's just like, I mean, because he's going to crack a joke about Trump and everything, so he's going to do a monologue in front of nobody, and there's not going to be anybody, they're probably going to do a simulated audience where it's like, you know?
His stuff is not original. He does the same thing everyone else does. He's not even funny, unlike Norm Macdonald or anything.
Stephen Colbert used to be really funny, though. That was a sad thing. Like, I remember him on The Daily Show back in the time when Clinton and Bush were president and stuff. He used to be really funny, and then they just went downhill. It's like when Obama became president, being funny, not taking knocks on politics the right way, just didn't seem to be funny anymore. But, I mean, this is millennial culture, so fuck it.
My mom loves watching that show, and I'm like, I don't care. He's horrible. I don't care.
Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers are suspending production. Hollywood basically has been watching it. The producers of that stupid James Bond movie, No Time to Die, they've moved their release from April to November.
Good.
That's fine with me because we don't need to see Bond basically take a backseat to a diversity hire ultimately, which it is. Look. There's nothing wrong with black spies, okay? I don't care what the color of your skin is, but when you're basically being used to move in onto people who have already done a series for a long time, and you're basically making a black woman, two things against one, that's where I'm just sitting like, okay, we know this is a diversity hire, and we know this is whitewashing here.
Bond is supposed to be a dude. What are you doing?
Yeah, Bond's a dude.
Yeah.
Bond's a fucking dude. You've got Atomic Blonde if you want it. And that wasn't that bad of a movie, honestly. Charlize Theron did okay. It's not going to capture the charm of James Bond, but that's when you sit there, it's like, look, if you really, really, really want to go with a good story, and you want it to be appreciated, stop blaming men for your problems,
Yeah.
and get a good writer, and
Right.
stop focusing on identity politics, and you'll get a good
There's
story.
also plenty of other female-oriented, I don't know about spies particularly, but there's plenty of other books and movies and shit for that, guys.
Women of the OSS in a lot of movies are
That
like that.
too.
French Resistance is
French
really
Resistance,
good.
yes.
You know, Ripley from Aliens.
Yes,
she's
Ripley.
a total badass. I mean, her role was originally written for a dude anyway,
Yeah.
and she fit the shoes perfectly there.
Exactly.
I mean, she really, really fit the shoes well. You know, I'll say it's Dick Tracy's girlfriend Tess. In Dick Tracy, yeah, what am I saying? Yeah, Dick Tracy, Tess, she was a tough broad, you know, and this was a time period during the 50s, you know, when basically women were working out of the home and everything. It was good to see her have a pitching arm. It was good to see her, you know, like I love it when the kid's like, I don't like dames, and she's like, good, neither do I, and gave that little stink eye to him. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I liked that.
Yeah.
I really did. And I mean, and again, whatever a woman wants to do, if they want to be a career woman or if they want to be a housewife, as long as you're happy. You know, there's nothing wrong with being a housewife. There's nothing wrong with being a career woman. Just don't, you know, don't screw people over and don't, you know, ruin people's lives, and you're fine.
I don't remember the name of the author, but there's a book series called Vada's War about a female military officer, and she's the main character, and she's a fucking badass. So, see? Yeah.
Conferences and education. So basically, Trump was going to be speaking to people in Florida, but you know that's just going to go down the shitter. Basically, there's going to be Google canceled their I/O developer event in Palo Alto. E3, our video game
E3.
convention, which, you know, is pretty much now just full of a bunch of dyed-haired, you know, cucks, basically.
Yeah.
Let's just say that was canceled. I was really, really looking forward to the next strong, independent women's video game out there.
Oh, God.
The New York International Auto Show was postponed to September 6th, or August to September. Oh, it's going to be around my birthday. Okay.
Cool.
And then, basically, that's... Let's see here. So yeah, Italy, Iran, China, South Korea closed down a lot of their schools. A lot of them, their schools have closed down, like New York University, Florida, Princeton, Columbia, Harvard. Notre Dame canceled classes till April 13th.
Wow.
So this has been pretty effective. Like, a lot of people aren't dicking around with this. It's a shame.
My mom was even saying that she's never even been in anything this bad before. This is one of those things where they're seriously freaking the fuck out about everything. Oh my god.
So,
It's
Maestro,
like the fucking apocalypse.
anything that you want to chime in with that you've heard of, or anything affecting you personally along that list?
Not really. Honestly, just like the stuff you're talking about. That's what I've been hearing too. Schools closing, stores closing. Well, not stores closing, but stores running and stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us about the lovely little TV commercials you've seen about it.
Lovely TV commercials. Honestly, I've been staying away from TV.
Well, you mentioned one time that you saw one.
TV commercials. Sorry. Think of something. Not much. I mean, I just feel like the coronavirus commercials.
Yeah.
Once in a while. Yeah.
I wonder what Jerry Seinfeld, you know, the character within his show, would think about it.
I know.
I think his entire household would probably be in the trash can. Yeah. Basically, because he was a germaphobe and a neat freak.
Oh, and
so.
what about Sheldon from Big Bang? Oh,
Sheldon
dear.
from Big Bang, yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm enacting the Skynet clause, yeah. Or no, zombie apocalypse
Yeah,
clause.
zombie
There we
apocalypse.
go,
There you go. Oh, no.
You know, I gotta tell you, I did something similarly related. I'm gonna geek out here, so don't mind me. Something similarly related to Star Wars. Have you guys ever wondered what was at the bottom? You know how, like, you have those city planets like Terrace, Telos, Nar Shaddaa, Coruscant, and whatnot, where the city just covers the entire planet?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever wondered, like, what was at the bottom of those skyscrapers?
Uh-oh. Crazy monsters?
Yeah,
And
pretty
mutants?
much. It's pretty frightening what's down there. I mean, Coruscant unfortunately got a lot of ogres that were down there that
Ew.
even the Empire took over and like turned into brain zombies.
Gross.
And then there's also these kind of like corpse walkers and whatnot. They're just
Ew.
really creepy, you know, like de-evolved humans and things like that
Ew.
because of like exposure to like radiation down there and everything.
Yeah.
There's even like these like electrical worms that basically feed off of currents down there,
Ew.
and if they can't find any, they'll slide into your ear because your brain produces electricity. Yeah, and pretty much eat you from the inside out.
That's
So I was just like, wow, they
gross.
went Splatterhouse on that with the boar worm.
Ew.
Holy shit. But yeah, there's like a lot of creepy things down there. Hell, they even had a book where Darth Maul was down in the lower levels chasing some Jedi Knights or Padawans and ran into some like Tao Zun thing, which is like this hardened shell creature that's like immune to lightsabers and then bubbles itself from the Force to look invisible from it, so you can't detect them.
Yikes.
And basically, they were using it to trap Darth Maul and try to kill him and everything. That wasn't successful though. But yeah, I tell you, I sit there and I'm just like, man, what would happen if the coronavirus did something like that?
Yeah, this is
You know, holy
literally
shit.
fucking science fiction grade crazy bullshit. here.
Everybody's going off on it
Yeah.
there, I tell you. So I'm done geeking out there. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying in my British accent, you know, the coronavirus is just bad.
The coronavirus is bad, mate. Really, really bad.
Guys, don't do
The
that. I'm gonna start picking up
the coronavirus needs a spanking.
There you
The
go.
coronavirus is a fucking wanker.
It's a fucking wanker. Listen, I'm gonna have to do Simon now.
Oh, no.
Coronavirus. I'm gonna tell you something. You are pathetic. You need to get singing lessons. Don't give me that face. You don't even deserve to breathe the same oxygen as I do. Get yourself alive, get yourself a name and talent, and then come back and see me, darling. Yeah.
I wonder what Gordon Ramsay thinks of this.
What are you, an idiot sandwich? Oh God, this fucking virus! Why didn't you put any seasoning on this fucking virus?
What about Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe, he'll just throw a telephone. He's just gonna throw a telephone at the coronavirus. Oi! Well, you know he did do that when he was staying at a hotel.
Oh my god.
Back in 2003 or 2004, no, 2005 or 2006. Russell Crowe was staying at a hotel. His wife was apparently really, really ill, and he was trying to give her a call, but unfortunately the phones in the hotel were having problems. I think he requested a technician like 3 or 4 or 5 times and nobody helped. He got so fed up, he came downstairs with the phone from the hotel room, threw it at the concierge, and just basically the phone smacked on the wall and then it shattered.
Ooh, Jesus.
So, yeah. Yeah.
I hope that South Park makes an episode dedicated to this in their next season.
Yeah, oh yeah!
They
South
better
Park is
fucking do it.
I know South Park is totally going to go after the coronavirus.
It'd be
I mean,
so
hell,
funny.
they went after David Lynch's 1984 Dune, for Christ's sake,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know.
Dune.
Into that, yes, the spice melange, you know.
Yeah.
Going after was it Tom Brady's fecal transplant? That was fucking
that was
hilarious.
funny.
That was like the best episode of the season
Yeah.
right there. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Now, we still have 2 episodes we actually need to watch. Like Scott Malcolmson's got his own episode, which I
that's
definitely
right,
want to
I
see.
forgot about
And I
that.
don't know what the season finale episode's like, so we got to get caught up on that. We got Hulu, so I ditched cable finally. I was fed up with it. I just was like, forget it. You know, it's way too expensive, so I'm just sticking to internet only. And you know, then it's like, oh, well, you only have 1,024 gigabytes. Yeah, I know. I don't really use. I only use about half of that you know, a cycle basically. So. They tried to screw Boku out too. Like Cox tried to screw Boku out, saying like, "Oh yeah, Boku's got a conduit to his home," and then they come out and they don't. And I just basically decide to do Bad Boys 2. I'm just like, "Gee, Cox, do you ever wake up in the morning and be like, hello, Cox, or hello, Cox, hello, God, what was her name? Do you remember the name of that girl we were speaking to?"
No.
Okay, I'll just say Renee. I know I'm wrong, but it's like, "Hello, Cox. Hello, Renee. So, how should we fuck up a customer's life today? Gee, I don't know. Oh, look over there. Let's tell that customer that his house has a conduit to the home, even though we know it doesn't. there has never been service at that home, yet we'll get them a self-activation even though you need to have, even though if a house has never been serviced or hasn't had service for more than a year, you have to send a professional installation out and rob them of money and get credit for commission for it and keep our jobs. Yeah. So now he's still stuck with that crappy satellite service. Yeah, there's CenturyLink, but it's like, you can get 512 kilobits. No.
No, thank you.
If you said 512 megabits, I'm like, okay, we'll roll.
Megabits, yes.
But 512 kilobits, it's like,
that.
I escaped double dial-up speeds long time ago.
Ew, yeah, ew.
What service do you have, Maestro?
Of Cox, too.
Do you like Cox?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
CenturyLink's pretty good, too.
Yeah. Cox really, I mean, like, I love their service. I don't like their customer service, unfortunately. So that's just kind of where I draw the line. But not, fortunately enough, I rarely have to call in, so I don't really get a problem. It's like T-Mobile. I like T-Mobile's service, their customer service. Sometimes I have to call in like a third or fourth time, and then I get a hold of somebody that's nice. You know what I mean? I get a hold of somebody that knows what they're doing, who's nice, and just basically says, yeah, I'll do what he didn't do. Thanks. And then it works. Geico. I have a funny Geico story. Originally I was with Progressive Insurance, and they're all right. You know, I can't complain. I could do USAA because my dad was an officer in the Army, but you know, basically they were like $8 more expensive than Progressive was. So I was a little bummed. So I go online, I go to Geico. I'm like, gee, I wonder if Geico could save me 15% or more on car insurance. Yeah. So I go online and I do a quote, and it has me at $42 a month, and I'm like, what? But it doesn't have my deductions. So just for shits and giggles, I triple my deductions from 30, 60, 50 to 100, 300, 100. I lower my deductibles from 500 to 50. And then basically after that, I put in like double medical expenses, double rental insurance, put the roadside on there, things of that nature. I went from 117 a month on my Buick 92 to $77 a month. How crazy is that?
I know.
So,
right?
But here's the thing. I'm a good driver. I have never been in an accident since I was 21. And I didn't do any damage to the other vehicles, so technically it was just a slight bump. That's what I call it, and that's all it was. I did more damage to my dad's truck, unfortunately, but everything was fixed and running okay, so no worries there. Nobody died. I have never had a speeding ticket before. The worst thing I've ever had with a cop was I did get a warning for crossing a gore point, and I didn't hurt anybody or anything, but that was my bad because I was in a rush to get an old roommate to work. But I told him like what I would do better next time, and he said, "Boy, I've never had anybody say it so articulately. I'm just going to give you a warning today." Hey, awesome! So you know, what can I say? I mean, if you own your vehicle, if you are a great driver, and your vehicle has good safety features, like airbags and like brakes, you'll be basically getting more, you know, less money out of that there. Now, the only problem is that if you ruin a bumper, and bumpers have like those cameras now, unfortunately they're probably going to raise money on that because those are custom. Those are like custom bumpers basically. But hey, Geico's the way to roll. So if any of you guys need new car insurance, definitely go to Geico. I just out of the blue was like, gee, I wonder if they could save me 15% or more.
Yeah.
So
back to the virus for a second.
Sure.
They have Nickelback wrote a song about this. If today was your last day.
Oh. Oh, I'd be like humping my girlfriend from here to eternity if I had one. Yeah, if I had one, you know. But oh well, it's all good. So basically, yeah. CoronaVirus has ruined a lot of things. Since we got to go back on it, since Pikachu has like a bromance with it, not as kidding. But that's pretty much it. You know, I'm done talking depressing things about that, honestly. But what do you say? Anybody want to throw any other topics out, or just get straight to the picks?
Oh well, you had your special melody thing you wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah! Hey, that was really cool. Thanks for reminding me, Pikachu. I just wish that you reminded me of my keys, but no, it's it happens. So So let me hey, it's all good. It's all good, man. So let me ask you something. Maestro. Have you heard of Project Melody?
I don't think I've heard of one before. Let's check them out.
Oh well. No. Here's what she is. Project Melody is basically the very first CG cam girl. She's a VR cam girl.
Interesting.
Yeah. So she's based off of she's cute looking. I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but I still think it's really interesting, especially with how many hoes are getting mad over it.
Yeah,
you know,
hoes mad.
Hoes super mad times 24. I'll tell you, whoever voices her is adorable. She basically does, naughty things on Chatterbait, and she even went on Twitch and everything like that. They recently suspended her, ironically enough, because of it. But I tell you, she doesn't berate her fans or put them down. She doesn't think they're like cucks or incels or anything. Now, I mean, let's face it. Let's face it. Diehard cam girl followers are probably usually going to be cucks or thirsty incels. Let's just put it out there right there. I mean, however you get your rocks off is however you get your rocks off. People could easily say, "Oh, well, you don't have a girlfriend, Fox, so you're a total incel." It's like, no, I'm actually a vocel. I'm voluntarily celibate. There's a lot of reasons why. I mean, I tell you, after I threw my ex out, I tried playing the field a little. I didn't like it. You can call me a pussy or whatever. I didn't like it. I really didn't. I felt like and I was nice, kind. I wasn't trying to be a big sister. I was like being a friend and more so and things of that nature. I didn't try to rush anything. I got a few rocks off. I've told Pikachu some stories. I won't go into detail. Yeah. But after like my third try, I just felt like, you know what? I can't do this. I really, really, really can't do this. So I called it quits, and I don't regret it. No children, no diseases, no emotional baggage. Hey, I'm happy, Not that, and again, like we said, not that there's anything wrong with children. It's just we're more of the cool uncle and aunt type. What can I say?
Yeah.
But back to Project. I'm sorry?
I agree.
Yeah. We all three of us believe in family. Like, family is very important. Marriage, things of that nature are very important, basically. Having children and everything. It's not for us because we're selfish people, but not selfish to the point to where we're going to take people's privileges or rights away, but we know that we don't want to bring children into a world where we're doing other things, basically. And we're happy. We're happy for that, and it's no skin off our backs. We're devoted to each other and everything. I mean, Pikachu and Maestro are devoted to each other, but they just don't want to have kids. Nothing wrong with that.
I don't have a lot of patience for kids.
Right, exactly.
I help at my parents' house, watch them. I have a cousin I help watch too, although that's kind of a different story entirely. But yeah, you can have them back.
Yeah, right. And I'm like a tata to our friends' kids too. I'm a tata to our friends' kids.
Theo.
And or I'm sorry, no,
Theo.
wait.
That's uncle.
Tata's uncle, yeah.
Theo is uncle.
Who? Oh, Tito? Oh, yeah, I'm a Tito. Yeah, not Tata. Sorry, I was thinking something else.
That's female.
Right. I'm a Tito. Right. I was thinking something else. Yeah, I'm a Tito to my friends' kids. Like even little Junior called me Tito. He's just like Tito. He's like, he thinks you're uncle. I'm like, hey, I'm Uncle Patrick.
Yeah.
That works. Well, yeah. See, I used my middle name there. But anyway, it's like I'm Uncle Fox. There we go. So yeah, I'm Uncle Fox. I love my adopted niece and nephew. I'll just say that. I love them to death.
So cute.
I really, really do. But getting back here, so Project Melody, she's this purple-haired girl that has kind of like a I don't know, like an A or B cup build, and she's not really like a lolly. She's just kind of like she looks like a a young adult, like in her late teens, early 20s, and she has a really adorable voice. She's got, I'm not really fab on the boobs because, I love big boobs and all, but she's adorable. She does, like, dirty things. She'll say, like, the popular things, say, like, ooh, ooh, and stuff like that. The stupid little fur fag stuff and whatnot. But she never shits on her fans. She never shits on her fans. She's always active on Twitter. I mean, I tell you, it's ingenious, really. Especially considering with, like, Blade Runner 2049. I love the fact that she's got a Band-Aid across her nose because Kay in Blade Runner 2049, after he got beat up in that movie, had a Band-Aid over his nose, and he had a relationship with a holographic girl named Joy. And basically, you know, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when he's walking past one of her advertisements, and then she goes, "Hey, Joe, you look lonely," and she just basically enlarged herself in front of him and pointed her finger at him, and all he did from a distance was just stand up and look at her. And at that moment, you're wondering what's going on in his head. Does he realize that he's not as special as he thought he was? Does he realize that his woman, his dream woman, was for everyone and wasn't singular? I mean, I tell you, it was a very powerful moment. But, of course, it got hose mad.
Yes, it did.
I tell you, Project Melody is really pissing people off. I'm going to see if I can pull up... you know, something I found on Facebook about her. But here's something that recently happened. Twitch suspends Amaranth and Project Melody on the same day. Amaranth, I'm not surprised because she's a filthy woman. Sorry for fans. But, you know, with Project Melody, I'm just kind of sitting there like, dang. She was even being sponsored by Faku. She was starting to wear Faku shirts, which is basically a Japanese adult store. Oh. She was starting to wear those shirts, get promotions. I mean, it sucks. You know, and if you're an Amaranth fan, I mean, whatever. Hey, you know, you can love her if you love her. But here's what happened. Within hours, Twitch suspended veteran streamer Amaranth as well as newly partnered Project Melody. So they were partnered together even. Yeah. Both streamers are known for their risque approach to content. One a popular cosplayer, the other a virtual chatterbait star. Regarding Project Melody, Twitch seems to be at odds with itself. On one hand, they eagerly partnered the virtual webcam model before she even started a single stream. On the other, however, Melody embodies everything that Twitch is cautious against. The latter instantly bit the company in the ass. The new partner apparently trekking too deep into sexual territory. Okay, I get it. I get it. But what's ironic, though, is that what's ironic about it, though, is that originally Twitch was going for, like, all these girls, you know, girl gamers coming on and things, and I sat there and I'm just like, oh, we'll give you scholarships even. It's just like, yeah, I thought this was all about equality out there between men and women. Where's the men's scholarships? Oh, well, you know, there's always guy gamers. Yeah, but usually guy gamers are better than girl gamers. Oh. There's some, no, okay, yeah. There's some, that's an exaggeration, you know, to anybody who's a super sensitive snowflake listening to this, that's an exaggeration, but statistically it's true, though. But there are starting to become a lot of really good girl gamers out there. I'll tell you that. There really are. So but I still have to crack that joke because I just sit there and I'm just like, where's the equality and everything? Mm-hmm. There's this guy on Reddit that's all like, multiple reasons off the top of my head. Vibrator on the bed. Her shirt clipping through showing skin. No nips though. Pretty aggressive jiggle physics. Actively talking about wanting to show boobs and her porn. If she's a partner, she can't stream on Chatterbait. She links out to not safe for work content. Her sponsors Faku, which sells porn. She didn't properly disclose her sponsorship by Faku. But the great thing is, you know, we're talking about identity politics. At least they're identifying her as a her.
Yeah, right?
But, you know, it's so funny. I mean, it's really, really funny how they jump. Yeah, I mean, yeah, even Maestro's laughing. It's funny how they jump from, oh, we want to support women's, you know, sex work is real work and everything, to, we better not show skin and everything like that. Just the hypocrisy is deliciously twisting, I'll tell you that. Yeah. But that's just crazy with that shit. But I mean, I'm sorry, Amaranth is still trash. Something funny about her, there was a I think I mentioned it before, but I'll say it again, just in case anybody, you know, new is listening, you know, with our meager 32 fans. But there was this chat. What was it? Okay, there was this Twitch chat mod that worked for her, and basically, she apparently has like a husband or something like that. I don't recall. It's either a boyfriend or I think it's a husband. And basically, he got upset because he wanted to meet her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And it's like, "I thought you valued me. I still do. You've been a great friend. All right, that's it. I'm leaving and everything." See, there's these white knights out here that are just like, "Please, can I just have a crumb of pussy?" You know, and they just white knight these people, and then when they don't get what they want, it's like, "I've done all this stuff. This is my sex card. I'm turning it in." And then he goes, "I'm going to go to ST Peach because she's going to value me, and I'm going to mod her chat and everything." So I sat there, and I'm all like, I told a friend of mine that, and she was all laughing, and she goes, "Yeah, joke's on him. ST Peach has a boyfriend." I was like, "Oh,
yep."
So that was pretty damn funny. But you see, I love it when there's just all these just crazy ass people. This is like the heart when they know when a thirsty guy knows that there's a girl behind a play handle, a character on an MMO, I mean, that doesn't show herself. I mean, God, it's just like touchdown has been made on Earth. My cousin on Gelboro, she has an account on Gelboro, which is basically an anime hentai site. She posted a shit ton of Steam Heart pics. Steam Hearts Picks, which is an H game that's kind of like Project Raiden in 1941 and whatnot. It's got like sex scenes in it, blah blah blah. So she posted all the pictures on it and everything because she got the video game, like the special edition of it and everything. So she posts all of it on there. So she does that. Somebody sends a message to her inbox, and she's all saying like, "Oh, you want RP and everything?" Like, all right, whatever. So they apparently role-played. It only lasted like 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden he's talking about meeting her all of a sudden, like right off the bat. Now, she lives over in the Mediterranean, and she's okay, by the way. But she basically was like, yeah, this kid just all of a sudden just like, oh, we're going to get married and shit like that. And I thought she was joking. She said, no, he literally wanted me to give out my phone number, my camera, I mean, everything. He thought that just because we role-played for 10 minutes, which he did a shitty job doing, by the way, he thinks that we're like all of a sudden married. These are really desperate people. Yeah. This is typically what you're going to find from Camgirl fans, basically. You know, if you thought that whole thing I mentioned about that chat mod was a joke, it's not. There are a lot of sad... Those are true incels right there. But when somebody says like, oh, Ho's mad about Project Melody, you know, real women losing money, or, you know, or if people are just like, you know, oh, you don't support sex work, you're an incel. Why are you insulting your fans?
I know, right?
Because you're literally insulting your fans there. You are. Your fans are incels.
Yep.
You know? Not all of them, but still, you know, it's just, it's a majority of them are fucking incels, you know? So I'm going to find this thing on Project Melody. So what do you think, Maestro? You still want to check her out?
I'm good. No, thank you.
Yeah, see, I knew that was going to happen there. I mean, I'm sure
Pikachu 23, so.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I mean, I'm sure Pikachu would never get upset at you for checking something like that out anyway.
I don't know.
I don't know. Uh-oh. Oh, Pikachu's one of those girls. Uh-oh. Well, I mean, I know Maestro is, you know, I know Maestro's a, you know, a loyal dude and everything.
I don't know if Maestro would get much out of that because it's a visual thing.
Right, I know. I'm just giving shit about that. Yeah, Maestro's, you know, Maestro's obviously blind, of course. You know, if you didn't catch the blind musician. So yeah.
Yep.
But let me kind of scroll down here real quick and see if I can find everybody freaking out about. Oh, here we go. Okay. So let's see. Repeat after me. Ho's mad. Okay. So we see a picture of Project Melody. Then we see, you know, world's first 3D hentai cam girl, which, I mean, like I said, that's awesome. You know, it's really awesome. Cool. So here we go. So this is back in February. You're going to get a big kick out of this here. Pumpka Blue says, I logged on Chatterbait to stream there for once just to see an anime character streaming with 12K viewers. LOL. Guess I won't even bother trying. Such a cool site attracting kids like that. So there, you know, it's like, look, honestly, if you're diehard into anime and everything of that nature, that's your thing. But if that's your entire life, then at that point it can be like, yeah, fuck kids. But don't you see where it's funny? You see these people come out of nowhere. It's like, oh, you're into the stuff that's for children and everything like that. But then, of course, you know, when you're cool with somebody, it's just like, oh, that's your thing. I don't judge and everything. It's just the hypocrisy spins. Wow, Chatterbait is now at 20K tokens and 15K people. Good job, Cartoon, beating all use, but she's probably meaning us, real people on Chatterbait. And this is Crystal69 Rivers, who looks like a dude, by the way. Yeah. So it's like, Ho's mad. So then it goes, so then this guy called the Viral Smuggo goes, bots before thoughts. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's cam for my mayor today, going live. So, you know, Project Melody's saying that. So then this Roxy Romanicide goes, yeah, because we can't show our actual selves and actually work for those viewer numbers. So then Jamin Quintuple 9 goes, we'll adapt or get left behind if you're threatened by a VR girl.
Yeah.
You know, Pocky Bitch equals Sasha Lynn Star. So you see, listen to all these names here. Yeah, I totally want to be these Cam Girls fans now. I mean, just listen to these fucking names. Chatterbait, to be verified, you must provide ID and social security number. Hold your face up next to the photo so we can be sure it's you. Age verification. You got to be able to prove who you really are and hold accountable a performer. You can't prove shit from a cartoon. Okay, I bet you this is probably another girl that thinks the Electoral College and, like, voter ID shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's different. No, not really. So she goes on to say, yes, I will defend us. I've got plenty of strong arguments to contend against this creation. You
Really?
gotta run the site right. Impersonation of a human being on a site where I have to prove who I am and say I am every moment. They can't just generate whatever they suit their mood. No, you can't justify what this is next to flesh and blood performers, and I'm reading this the way she's typing, putting it all on the line for CB. Chatterbait, I guess. I'm on the internet forever. Branded a dirty whore. The porn stigma, a scarlet letter. Hiding behind a computer screen, giving nothing but expecting everything. It's a mockery of what I do. You see, these people, these chicks are just, they do brand themselves.
They need to be fucking special.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, scarlet letter means you're an adulteress. What does that have to do with that?
Right? Right?
Stupid.
Well, they had other scarlet letters, though,
You know
so it
what I
wasn't
mean,
just the
though.
A, but yeah.
No.
I mean, do you see what I'm talking about, though? It's like these people, and this even looks like a fucking dude as well. Doesn't even look like a chick, you know? You see what I'm talking about, though? This is just scary. That you know, I mean, it's like, look, you can do whatever you want to, but I'm not going to accept you as like this, you know, all-encompassing person. It's sad that if you have to use your body that way. I mean, cosplayers is an exception because, you know, you have creativity with that. Cam girls, on the other hand, just solely doing the cam girl stuff, it's like, oh, you sit in front of the camera and you finger your vagina? Oh, good for you. It's not like every other fucking woman out there can do that, you know? Yeah. But I mean, I get it. I get it. If you have no talent or even good taste, I mean, I guess you do you do what you got to do, you know. So basically, it's a mockery of what I do. But I'm making fun of you right now. You are a mockery, you know. The future is now, which is awesome, and they got like all these cute pictures of her showing her, you know, her peace sign and everything. So you see, it's great how you know, it's great how. You know, how fucking hilarious this all is, basically.
Yeah, right?
How everybody's just getting upset over a fucking VR girl. I think it's creative. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of, like, MGTOW guys out there. If you don't know what MGTOW is, Maestro, it's men going their own way. It's basically dudes who have either never had a girlfriend because out of choice, or have had a girlfriend and are done with women. They're slight misogynists or up to full-blown misogynists, but their reasoning is because they've had really bad relationships and they're done playing the game, basically. So, you know, I don't blame those guys ultimately, but I tell you, things like this, you know, I mean, this is like the next best thing to sex dolls, honestly.
I know, right?
You know, it really, really is.
Yeah.
It's a great plan B for anybody out there that's done with like relationships in general, honestly. You know, and she doesn't berate you. I've actually listened in on her stream for about 15 minutes. She's cute. She likes talking with people. She doesn't insult people. You know, she's an all-around great girl. Whoever basically motions her with like the VR cam work and everything is a genius.
Yeah.
You know, big bucks. It's the future. The future is coming early.
Yeah, because unfortunately, most of the girls out there are not going to be like me, who is mostly reasonable.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a dude out there. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Maestro.
I accept that. You know, for Pikachu 23 is, you know.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
I mean, honestly, I gotta tell you, Dave Cat, however you say it, he was on a show about those real dolls where you spend like $6 grand on a silicone doll. I mean, they're pretty awesome, I'll tell you that. But anyway, before I go into that, I mean, you know, I wouldn't really buy one or anything of that nature. But I'll tell you, I'd have to get super desperate. But I'll tell you this, he actually put a Twitter up of his 2 real dolls and speaks on their behalf and everything. So this has been going on for a while. It's not like the VR stuff, but some people speak on behalf of things. I mean, some people get into their roles, into their fantasies, and, you know, safely display it out there. And some people have fun with it. Now, when you start catfishing hardcore, where basically you're, you know, can you give me money, or I'm in trouble, or blah, blah. When you start catfishing hardcore, and then people are putting their lives on the side for you and everything of that nature, that's when it becomes a problem. But if you're doing it for fun and they know ahead of time and whatnot, you know, let the fucking babies have their bottles, for Christ's sake.
I know, right?
But, again, it doesn't make up for, I mean, it doesn't make up for having a decent relationship, a family, things of that nature. I mean, even though I don't want to have a family or anything, you still, like we said, there's still got to be those values there. There's still got to be some form of, like, balanced tradition. That's just the way I see it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man, I got to shave tonight before I go to work. I'm feeling my beard right now.
Uh-oh.
So, that won't be a problem. Yeah, unfortunately I don't start work till 10:30, but usually I just shower the night before I go in. And
you don't want to be Mr. Furry in the
right,
morning.
right. I mean, I only shave once a week, and they're cool with it because I don't, like, my whiskers stay as barbs, but over the weekend you can tell it's like, okay, it's time for Fox to shave, you know what I mean? Yeah. All right, anything else before we get to tournament shit?
I don't really think so, except there was that one thing you told me that the Florida man did that was funny.
The Florida man?
What was it? Remember the Florida man?
Oh.
But there was a recent one that you said that was hilarious.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah, there was like a really funny Florida man thing that happened, but I just don't even remember it off the top of my head. Sorry about that.
We have to get back to reading those eventually.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
funny.
we do. I think we're, what, on February or March, one of those.
Like
yeah. We'll get back to that, though.
Maestro doesn't know about this. So if you literally type in Florida man, you will come up with a bunch of really hilarious stories in Google.
Florida man birthday stuff is hilarious. Yeah. You just take your birthday, like say like Florida man and whatever your birthday is. When is your birthday, Maestro?
My birthday is December 14th.
December 14th, yeah. So, you know what? Let's do that for Maestro right now. I'm curious.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Let me do Florida man, December 14th. Okay. So let's see here. Florida man arrested for biting boys out of frustration.
You bit someone so you have fucking rabies?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Oh, man.
Oh, dear.
Oh, they even have a webpage. Yeah, it's FloridamanBirthdayChallenge.com.
Oh,
somebody finally did it. Okay.
That's great.
I'm going to go to August 30th since that's my birthday.
Do yours and
speaking of Geico, Warren Buffett, the CEO of Geico, we have the same birthday, August 30th, so that's pretty fucking cool. Florida man videotaped catching gator while bare hands faces felony charges. Okay. That's a little boring, but okay. That was back on 2016.
Why would you videotape?
All right, let's go to August 20th.
Yeah.
Let's see what yours comes up with. Oh! I remember Florida man named his name was Vladimir Putin, and it was a black dude on my birthday. Yeah, Florida man Vladimir Putin steals car and gets arrested. I remember that was on August 30th, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, Florida man taken into custody after multiple weapons found in crashed Escalade. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, there's some gems out there, I'll tell you that. Like, I have a whole video, we have a video on January stuff there, Maestro. So if you want to watch that, it's like Florida man.
Funny.
It's just so fucking funny, yeah. All right.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, when we do that, I literally count how many times there's a food one or something, because the food ones are really common, they're really funny. Like, the Florida man threw food at someone.
All right, so we're going on to the bracketology. So on the screen that's been here the whole time, I hope our fans have basically kind of absorbed this. This is kind of like a mock pick here, minus like the, the last 4 in and all that junk there. So basically, the simulator picked Dayton as the national champion. No. There's no way in hell Duke beats Kansas, and there's no way in hell if Dayton beats Michigan State. Michigan State, it was on a rise at the end of the season. They had a really, really hard struggle near the end of or at the beginning and the middle of the season, but then they were rising like a phoenix from Arizona.
Yeah,
so
fucking Duke isn't very good this year, so no way.
So we're gonna go with this first bracket, which is obviously the Midwest here. So this is what we're gonna go with here. So here's what they got. 1 to 16 matchup is Kansas and Robert Morris. I'm taking Kansas, of course.
Yeah.
8 and 9 is Arizona State, Florida. Now the simulator picked Florida. I could probably go with that because 1, I hate ASU, but 2, ASU was even lucky they made it into the tournament. They actually made a last-second surge and basically were the number 2 seed in the Pac-12 tournament, ironically enough, because of their last-second surge. I could go either way on it, but I'm going to pick Florida because I hate ASU.
And fuck you, Butthead. He likes ASU.
Wait.
That was my ex.
Oh, your ex?
Yeah, we call him Butthead.
I was about to say, I thought Maestro was a U of A fan.
No,
okay.
no. You know him as Goofy Ruggles. We call him Butthead.
Right, there you go. That's what I like to hear. So I think we're all going to pick Florida for that, more than likely.
Yeah, Florida.
Okay, cool. So the 5 seed was Wisconsin, and the 12 seed was East Tennessee State. Now, 5 12 seed matchups are the most notorious upsets in the tournament, just to let you know, Maestro, if you're not familiar with the NCAA March Madness. So I would pick Wisconsin personally because I didn't really know much about ETSU, but I got to tell you, I mean, ETSU had a nice run, but honestly, I'm just going to play it safe and go with Wisconsin on that one. What about you, Pikachu?
Sure, let's do that.
And what about you, Maestro?
I'll agree. Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, yeah. All right. So then we got Kentucky and Vermont. Kentucky's a 4 seed. Vermont's a 13 seed.
Oh.
Vermont had a good season. I'm going to give Vermont credit. They had a really good season this year. Kentucky, though, basically started picking up the pieces at the last second. I'm going with Kentucky.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. How about you, Maestro?
I'm going to go with the same answer that you're going with.
Which, what?
Oh, Kentucky. Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. No
Yeah,
problem at all. So, Illinois and Cincinnati. Illinois was an overachieving team this year. I mean, Arizona had a tough time with them at the beginning of the season in the first half, but then the second half they crushed them. But Illinois really surged well and comes in as a 6 seed against 11 seed Cincinnati. Cincinnati sometimes has really great seasons, but this year they struggled a lot. Honestly, I'm going to go with Illinois.
Ooh. And Boku would love this.
Right.
I'll go with them.
Go with Illinois too.
I
All
want
right.
them to go somewhere, you know.
How about you, Maestro?
Virtually, or, you know.
I'll go with Illinois too.
All right, sounds good. So then we got 3rd seeded Duke with 14 seeded Arkansas Little Rock. Now Chris Beard, who coaches Texas Tech now, used to coach Arkansas Little Rock and gave them their first 30-win season several years ago, and they got an upset in the first round of the tournament, I remember. Duke, regardless, as much as I hate them, I think Duke would easily beat Arkansas Little Rock, honestly.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But why is Duke a 3 seed when they're not very good this year?
I know, I thought they would be a 4, but this is like, it's the CBS and ESPN tournaments are different, but I visit CBS a lot more often, so. What about you, Maestro? Duke or Arkansas Little Rock?
I'll go with Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh, he's going to go with the upset. Ooh.
Okay.
Somebody hates Duke with a passion.
So do I, but still.
Michigan and Utah.
I've never seen Duke before, so.
They're usually like one of the best teams in the tournament.
They just kind of slipped up.
Year.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say suck,
but
but they did have a few slips, more than normal. I mean, this has been a whole crazy year anyway.
I know, right?
I can't believe how many underachieving teams succeeded and overachieved.
Insane.
Michigan, Utah State. Michigan had a new head coach. Michigan comes in at a 7 seed, and then Utah State comes in at a 10 seed. Michigan had a first-year coach, started off red hot, gave Gonzaga one of their 2 losses in the tournament in the Battle for Atlantis Championship. Michigan went from unranked to number 5 in just one poll, and I mean they made one of the largest jumps since Kansas did that back in '88. Then they kind of faltered and reality kicked into them, but then they made a strong surge at the end there. Utah State stayed pretty consistent. Hey, they won the Mountain West Conference over a surging San Diego State. And San Diego State was on the verge of being a 1 seed, and they only had 1 loss to UNLV before Utah State beat them. That's kind of a coin toss to me in this game, but I'm going to go with Michigan because they were surging great. I mean, both teams are surging right now if they were to go, so it's like a coin toss, but I'm going to go with Michigan.
I'm doing Utah on this.
Going to go with Utah State? All right. How about you, Maestro?
I'm going to go with Michigan, too.
Oh, you're with Michigan too? Okay, no problem at all.
Traitor!
Well, I hate Michigan because I hate Michigan because I'm a Notre Dame fan. So
Whoa,
yeah.
are you okay there, buddy?
All right.
I hope so.
We got 2-seed Creighton and 15-seed Belmont. I'm going with Creighton. Belmont has been a surprise team in the past, but honestly, 15-seed, they weren't really that good this year. I was happy they won their conference championship, but yeah, I'm going with Creighton. Creighton was one of those teams that just came the hell out of nowhere. They used to be really good, too, for a while, and then they sunk for a couple years, but I was glad to see them surge. I'm going to go with Creighton.
First of all, Belmont, cool name.
Oh, yeah.
But, because of Castlevania.
Yep.
But, yeah, I'm going to go with Creighton, too. I also had a cousin that went there, so that's
yeah,
cool.
there you go.
Yeah.
And how about you there, Maestro?
I'm going to go with Creighton, too.
Creighton, all right. So now we go to the second round in this bracket. So we got Kansas and Florida. I'm going with Kansas. I mean, Florida was okay, but Kansas has been I'm honestly going to probably take Kansas to the Final Four in this bracket just to get that out of the way. I think Kansas definitely wins that one against Florida.
Definitely.
Definitely?
I'm going to go with Kansas, too.
All right. How about you, Maestro?
I'm going to go with Kansas.
Okay. So Kansas is our first Sweet 16 team. Now, we've got 3 people here, so the mediation is whoever picks more, we'll push them along, but we're still going to give our opinions, obviously. So, like, for example, if Maestro and Pikachu had said Utah State together, we would have bumped Utah State over, which is fine,
Yeah.
Because it's a legit pick. It really is.
Yeah,
I don't blame Pikachu whatsoever. That's a very good legit upset pick there. Wisconsin and Kentucky. I'm going with Kentucky. Wisconsin's an overrated 5 seed, so I'm going with Kentucky because Kentucky was really surging at the end of the year. So.
Okay, let's do them too.
Gonna do Kentucky. How about you, Maestro?
I'll go with Kentucky.
Go with Kentucky. All right. Illinois and Duke. Honestly, Duke's going to win that one. Duke kind of underachieved this season, but at least they did better than Arizona did. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Duke in that one.
I fucking hate them, but I think I better do Duke too.
Yeah. What about you there, I'm sorry, Maestro?
I'll go with Duke as well.
Duke, okay.
Unfortunately.
And then Michigan Creighton. Honestly, I'm going to go with Creighton. I mean, Michigan, I'm glad they had that surge at the end, but I'm going to go with Creighton in that one. How about you, Pikachu?
Let's do Creighton again,
Creighton? Yeah. Okay. What about you there, Maestro?
I'll pick Creighton again.
All right, cool. So we got the Sweet 16 this bracket. Kansas, Kentucky. Kansas wins this one, I feel, in a tight game. Kentucky's good, but I think Kansas is really, really strong, and I think they would win this.
Yeah, Kansas.
Kansas? All right. How about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Kansas.
Kansas? Okay. Duke and Creighton, it's, honestly, I want to pick Creighton because they're not too bad, but the problem is that Duke really knows how to play during tournament time, regardless of their seeding. So it's kind of a coin toss here, but I'm just going to play it safe and go with Duke.
I'm going to choose Creighton.
Go choose Creighton for the upset. And that's not bad. That is not bad of an upset there, so no problem.
I thought Creighton was 2 and Duke was
3.
Duke's
3 and Creighton's 2, so they're playing each other,
yeah.
What about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Creighton.
Ooh, okay, so we'll bump Creighton there. So Kansas and
Duke,
Creighton.
you lose!
So here we go. Kansas and Creighton, 2 Big 12 teams.
But it has to be Kansas, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, you can pick Creighton if you want to. It's okay. I personally am picking Kansas.
Yeah,
like I said,
too.
I think Kansas is just too damn good.
All
All right, so you're picking Kansas. What about you there, Maestro?
I'll pick Kansas.
Okay, so Kansas is our first Final Four team there. All right, now, I think this is probably, so Midwest, this is probably, I want to say this is more than likely the, I want to say this might be the South bracket, but I could be wrong. This could potentially be, oh, you know what, I think this is probably, let me take a look at these seedings here. I think this might be, no, this is the East bracket, so this is the West bracket, this is the South bracket. So, Dayton and Winthrop in the South bracket. I mean, I'm taking Dayton. Winthrop had an awesome... we actually watched them win their conference tournament when we were after the Toy Fair. Oh, yeah. But Dayton's just too damn good for them, so I'm picking Dayton.
Yeah, I'll go with Dayton, too.
All right, how about you, man?
I'll pick Dayton, too.
Dayton, all right. So, 8-seed, 9-seed matchup here is St. Mary's, which is a school in California that's usually a rival to Gonzaga on the West Coast Conference, and Oklahoma. Honestly, I don't really know. I mean, like, St. Mary's kind of had a struggling season. Oklahoma, I didn't really know much about them this year. But honestly, I'm just going to go with St. Mary's.
Let's do Oklahoma.
No, do Oklahoma? Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Maestro?
I'll pick St. Mary's.
St. Mary's? Okay, cool. So then we got 5-seed Auburn and 12-seed Akron. Auburn had a great start to the season this year. I mean, they were a Final Four team that just lost by a point to then national champion Virginia. They were robbed, I felt, but you know, it is what it is. But Auburn had a strong run last year. I was really impressed with them. They kind of faltered near the end, unfortunately, but Auburn still had a really good team there, and they're taking on a 12-seed Akron, who's like the MAC champions, basically. I mean, easily I'm going with Auburn in that one. I don't think Akron has enough juice to beat Auburn in that, so I'm going with Auburn.
Let's do Auburn,
Yeah. How about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Auburn.
Auburn, okay. Louisville and Liberty. Chris Mack coaching Louisville. He came out of Xavier. Great coach. You know, Louisville had a great start to the season. Kind of faltered a bit, but who hadn't, you know. Louisville's still a strong team. Liberty won their conference. I don't remember what conference they play for, but Liberty can sometimes pull a few surprises off, but I think Louisville's still too strong for them. I'm going for Louisville.
That's the Liberty Flames, isn't it?
Liberty Flames, you got it.
I did pick them last year because they were doing so good, but I'm going to go with Louisville.
You're going to go with Louisville? Okay. How about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Louisville, too.
No problem. Hold on a second here. I got a message from the guy selling that video card there.
Oh.
Let me just see here. Everything working okay. Alright, there we go. Okay. So he was really nice. I sold my video card, and the guy was so nice. His kids kept waving at me, and I was just like, hey!
Yeah.
All right. 6-seeded West Virginia, 11-seeded Rutgers. So, Rutgers was one of those teams that came out of nowhere this year and was quite a surprise. West Virginia is no stranger to success. Bob Huggins used to coach Cincinnati when they were in their prime. He had a better season than I've seen in a while. He was basically really powerful. The team had a great. I'm sorry, the team. I apologize. Surged for a bit, kind of slumped a little near the end. Honestly, West Virginia takes this one. I think. I mean, props to Rutgers for a great season and getting on the up and up. Because usually their women's team in the past was really good. But hey, all props to West Virginia. What about you, there, Pikachu?
Yeah, we'll go with West Virginia.
And you, Maestro?
I'll go with West Virginia.
All right, cool. 3-seeded Michigan State and 14-seeded North Texas. Now, Michigan State had a really harsh season. They were flip-flopping in the top 25, much like Arizona was. They had a lot of, tragedy. Like, I remember one of their players' brothers died, and he played in the game for him. Had a great game. I tell you, it's one of those things where, you got real feels, basically. Michigan State getting a 3-seed, though, after all the adversity and the tough season they had was great. I'm picking Michigan State over North Texas. Now, hey, North Texas hasn't been in the tournament in ages, and I'm proud of them for getting in. They won the conference. I think it's the Conference USA, I want to say. But I'll tell you, Michigan State has way too much talent. I think Michigan State takes that one.
Okay, let's do Michigan.
Michigan State? Okay. And how about you there, Maestro?
I'll pick Michigan State.
All right, cool. 7-seeded USC, 10-seeded Indiana. USC had a really good season. Indiana, Archie Miller, who's Sean Miller's brother, coaches Indiana. That's where, Bob Knight coached, of course, where he threw the chair out onto the court. And we'll never forget that. USC had a pretty good season. I'll give them credit for that. And yes, this is a Notre Dame fan saying that. USC had a fairly good season. Indiana, just glad to see them back in the tournament. It's kind of a tough call there, but USC seemed to stay stronger all season, so I'm going to go with USC.
I'm going to do Indiana.
You're going to pick Indiana? Ooh, okay.
Don't like them.
Because you hate USC. Fair enough, fair enough. I hate Michigan, but I had to pick them, but I hear you. And I hated Duke, but yeah.
Yes.
How about you there, Maestro?
Pick Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Indiana. All right, so we're going to bump Indiana ahead there. Okay. And then set 2-seeded Villanova and 15-seed North Dakota State. Now, Villanova's always been good, and I tell you, Villanova, Seton Hall, and Creighton in the Big East have been fought for these top spots. And I tell you, to see 2 seeds and a 3-seed come out of the Big East in one season is crazy. North Dakota State had a great run in the Horizon tournament, but hey, Villanova, I mean, when it comes tournament time, Villanova knows how to get the job done. Let's not forget when they did that last-second buzzer beater against North Carolina. Yeah, I'm going Villanova.
Yeah, I'll do that one too.
All right, how about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Villanova too.
All right, cool. So we jump back up here, and we're looking at Dayton and St. Mary's. Now, St. Mary's would give Dayton fits, but I think Dayton's going to get to the Sweet 16 and try to make that march to that historic Elite 8 run they had a few years ago. What do you think, Pikachu?
Dayton.
Dayton.
Yeah.
All right, and you, Maestro?
I'll pick Dayton.
All right, cool. So Dayton's in the Sweet 16. Auburn and Louisville. This is a tough choice. Both these teams are really good. I would personally say Louisville has an edge in this game, basically, because they have more returning talent than Auburn does.
Oh.
Honestly, though, I feel that Auburn had a lot of unfinished business, personally, and I think that Auburn would actually take this one over Louisville, personally. But if you pick Louisville, that's not a bad pick at all, so it's a tough choice. What do you think, Pikachu?
I'm going to do Auburn.
You're going to do Auburn, too? Wow. How about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Louisville.
Oh, Louisville? Okay,
wow.
Yeah. So 2 against 1 on that, so Auburn will proceed in that there. So we got West Virginia and Michigan State. Tom Izzo, no matter how good or bad his team is no stranger to doing well. Now, sometimes when he's higher seed, he does worse. But I think that, honestly, after all the adversity, West Virginia is going to give him some fits. But I think Michigan State would win it, personally.
You are a stranger.
Let's do the Michigan.
Michigan State? Okay. And how about you there, Maestro?
I'll pick Michigan State.
All right, cool. So then we go to Indiana, since USC was outvoted, no problem. We go to Indiana and Villanova. Honestly, I think Villanova would clean their clocks.
Yeah,
you
let's
think so
do
too?
that.
All right, what do you think, Maestro?
I pick Villanova.
Villanova, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's the next Sweet 16. So now we've got Dayton and Auburn.
Oh.
Now, potential, I mean, not to take away from Dayton, Dayton was not that bad of a team this year. I mean, they really had a lot. I mean, honestly, I feel they're better than San Diego State and very deserving of the 1 seed. Dayton had some really good early non-conference victories, I'll tell you. They stayed the course in the Atlantic 10. The Atlantic 10 is full of sissies, but still, they stayed the course. Auburn, I mean, this is a tough call. I want to say Dayton, but Auburn, I just feel like I don't know, it's so tough. I feel Auburn could probably win this because they have more, I mean, they're like equal on talent, so to say. I just feel like Auburn's going to be really hungry to try to get back to another Final Four. Bruce Pearl coaches them up well. So I'm just going to go with the upset and go with Auburn, personally.
No, I'm doing Dayton.
Dayton? Okay. How about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Auburn.
Auburn, wow, okay.
Ouch.
So we'll push Auburn to the first as our first Elite 8 team. So then we go to Michigan State and Villanova. This is going to be an awesome matchup. Honestly, I'm going to go with what the simulations is. I think Michigan State's going to win it. I really think that Michigan State has learned their lesson as the season progressed, and I think that they're going to be desperate to get back into a potential Final Four again. I'm going with Michigan State.
Tough one. I guess we'll do Michigan.
Okay. And how about you, Maestro?
I'll go with Michigan State too.
All right, cool. So now we have our Elite 8 matchup between Auburn and Michigan State. Now here's some irony for you. Michigan State basically let me take a look here real quick before I say anything. Hold on just a moment here, fellas. Sorry. Gowan fella.
Oh, you can call me that.
I can call you that? Oh, that's sweet. Okay. So, basically, Michigan State was in the Final Four last year. So, you know, that was really awesome there. Texas Tech came out of nowhere and pretty much upset them, basically. So, that's how Texas Tech got in the national championship, was basically upsetting Michigan State. Not going to happen this year. Michigan State will beat Auburn. It's going to be a tough battle. Auburn and Michigan State are probably going to have, like, I don't know, 10 to 15 lead changes. And then Michigan State's going to get in the Final Four. So I've got Kansas and Michigan State playing each other. What about you, Pikachu?
Michigan.
Michigan State? Okay, and how about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Michigan State.
All right, cool. So, between Kansas and Michigan State, I think it's going to be like another slugfest, basically.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pick Kansas, honestly, to get in the national championship.
Kansas, too.
Kansas, how about you? Maestro?
I'll pick Kansas.
Okay, so Kansas fills out the left side. So we got one side of the tournament done. So here's the right side. In the West, Gonzaga is the #1 seed. No surprise there, really, because they were they finished 31-2. This realistically was another chance for Gonzaga to win a national championship this year, but sadly they're going to be falling short thanks to the coronavirus. So this is another team that really got stung bad by by this whole thing. They take on 16 seed Siena. Gonzaga's going to kill them.
I've never even heard of Siena, so we're going to go with Gonzaga.
Okay, and how about you, Gonzaga or Siena, Maestro?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
I'll go with the same answer, that Pikachu 23.
Okay, Gonzaga. All right.
Yeah.
So, Siena you actually had a fairly decent team. I mean, they usually sometimes do get in the tournament there, but yeah. The 8-9 matchup is Houston and Colorado. Ooh. Houston had a great season last year. I had them as a dark horse, to be honest, but sadly they fell short of their potential. It was good to see them in the tournament again, at least, so that was nice. Colorado was back on the up and up in the Pac-12 and whatnot. Honestly, if I had to choose between the two, I'm going to go with Colorado, personally.
Let's do Colorado.
You're going to do Colorado? All right, and how about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Colorado.
Okay, cool.
Bye-bye.
All right. Penn State at the 5 seed and Stephen F. Austin at the 12 seed. Okay. Penn State was a very overachieving team this year. Penn State almost cracked the top 10 this season. It was really, I mean, Penn State has been good before, and it was good to see them back in the mix. Stephen F. Austin was that team that beat Duke at the last second on that layup earlier in the season. And I was in the car watching that, and they got that steal, and I was like, get the run, get the left! Oh my God, they beat Duke on Duke's home court! Stephen F. Austin is known to upset teams at a 12 or 13 seed. I remember when they beat when Notre Dame was in as a 6 seed, and they beat and then they played Stephen F. Austin in the second round after Notre Dame beat Michigan. They played Stephen F. Austin in the second round and Stephen F. Austin was a 14 seed, and they upset. I don't remember who they upset, but that game was crazy, and Notre Dame won on the last-second tip-in by Rex Pfluger when he was a freshman. Oh, yeah. That was crazy. That was Notre Dame's second Elite 8 run, but they had a better team the prior year, obviously. But I'll tell you, that's my first 12-5 upset. I'm picking Stephen F. Austin over Penn State. Penn State sunk at the end of the season, and they're lucky they got a 5 seed. But then again, they're not lucky because they got to play an upsetting 12 seed Stephen F. Austin.
I'm doing Stephen F. Austin.
You're going to do Stephen F. Austin as well? All right. How about you, Maestro? You want to ride the lumberjack train?
Yeah, I'll join you guys.
All right, cool. So we're all in agreement there. So Oregon comes in as a 4 seed and playing New Mexico State as a 13 seed. Now, New Mexico State is one of those teams that usually wins the WAC right out. They're a dominant team, the WAC. But I tell you, that was a WAC score. Yeah. I'll tell you, New Mexico State, Arizona beat the shit out of them earlier in the season when I thought it was going to be a tough game. I don't think New Mexico State has enough in the gas tank this year, basically, to pull off an upset. Oregon's got a really solid team. I'm going with Oregon.
Is that the one with Tinkle? Or is that
that's Oregon State.
Oh, yeah. Fucking Tinkle.
This is the one with Pritchard.
oh, yeah. Let's do Oregon.
Gonna go with Oregon? Okay. How about you there, Maestro?
I'll go with Oregon, too.
All right, cool. 6 seed BYU and 11 seed Stanford. Stanford barely squeaks in. Stanford barely squeaks in. They were one of the first 4 in, basically. Stanford had a really solid start off to the season. got sluggish, but I mean, they finished strong to get in. BYU had a surprising season. Alex Barcelo, who used to play for Arizona, transferred to BYU and got to play this year, and he did a lot better because he got more playing time.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with BYU in this one just because Stanford, I mean, all the props to them for making that last-second push to get in, but I'm going with BYU in this. And this is another team that suffers because Stanford hasn't been in the tournament for a while, but I'm going to go with BYU.
Fun fact, my cousin's husband is the assistant coach for Stanford, but I do not like them personally.
Yeah,
so I'm
same.
going to go with BYU.
Same. And how about you, Maestro?
I'll go with BYU too.
All right, so we're going to go with the Mormons. Third-seeded Seton Hall taking on 14th-seeded Hofstra. So, Seton Hall, the legends of the 80s,
them.
is the 3 seed with the other 2 seeds, Creighton and Villanova, out of the Big East. They finished tied first place. They had a 3-way tie for first place in the Big East at the end of the season. That's how crazy the Big East was this year. Seton Hall has a good, solid team. Hofstra, all the props to them for getting in, because sometimes I see their name get in, but it's no contest for me. I think Seton Hall wins it easily.
I've never heard of Hofstra anyway, so we're going to go with Seton Hall.
Gonna go Seton Hall, okay. And how about you, Maestro?
I'll go with Seton Hall.
Go
And
Seton
that's
Hall,
one of
all
those
right.
little teams too, isn't it? The Seton Hall.
Yeah.
Be bigger.
Seton
So that's
Hall.
pretty
Well,
crazy.
Seton Hall plays in the Big East, but yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Notre Dame and Seton Hall used to kind of butt heads a lot too when they were in the Big East together before Notre Dame went to the ACC. 7th seed is Iowa. 10th seed is Xavier. Xavier, I didn't really hear too much about this year. Oh, no, you know what? They did jump up pretty high, and then they kind of slumped at the end, and then Iowa was kind of schizophrenic as well, much like Arizona was. I'm going to pick Iowa, honestly. I'm just going to go with the higher seed in this, so I'm going to go with Iowa.
Let's do Iowa.
Gonna do Iowa? All right. What about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Iowa too.
Pick Iowa? Okay. 2nd seed is San Diego State, the darlings that are also suffering from this. It's good to see them at a high seed again. Taking on a 15 seed Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington came out of the Big Sky pretty strong, but I think San Diego State's going to ride a train pretty far. So I'm going with San Diego State on that one.
I'm glad San Diego made it up there. We're going to go with them too.
All right, cool. And how about you, Maestro?
I'll go with San Diego State too.
All right, cool. All right, so second round, we got Gonzaga and Colorado. Colorado's going to give Gonzaga a hard time, but I think Gonzaga's going to pull it off there. I've got Gonzaga going to another Sweet 16.
Yeah, Gonzaga. I think they might go to the Final Four even.
Ooh, okay. And how about
interesting.
you, Maestro?
I'll pick the same answer you guys did.
Gonzaga? Okay, cool.
Yes, Gonzaga.
So we got Stephen F. Austin taking on Oregon.
Oh.
Now, Oregon's going to come out of this one. Stephen F. Austin's going to play their hearts out in this, but I think Oregon's going to win by a Pritchard last-second 3 or something of that nature. What do you think, Pikachu?
Let's do the Stephen F. Austin.
Oh, you're going to go with Stephen F. Austin.
Crazy.
Oh, okay. And how about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Boston too.
Oh, so we got a 12 seed going up against Gonzaga in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
So BYU and Seton Hall. This is an intriguing potential upset. BYU's got a solid team. Seton Hall's got a solid team too. I think this game would come down to the wire. I'm gonna go with BYU. What the hell?
Yeah, let's do BYU.
Let's just keep the Alex Barcelo train running. Why not?
Yeah.
And what about you, Maestro?
I'll pick BYU too.
BYU, okay, cool. Iowa, San Diego State. I could see Iowa giving San Diego State a fight, but I think San Diego State will come out on top and get that one. Honestly, I think San Diego State has an easy Elite 8 run, just to let you know, but yeah, that's just my thought on it. What about you?
San Diego.
San Diego State? All right. How about you, Maestro?
San Diego State.
All right, cool. So we're in the Sweet 16. We got Gonzaga against Stephen F. Austin's Cinderellas. I got to go Gonzaga. I mean, I think Stephen F. Austin's going to be very lucky to get there, but I got to go Gonzaga.
Yeah, we're doing Gonzaga.
Going to go do Gonzaga. Okay, what about you, Maestro?
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga, okay. Then we got BYU taking on San Diego State.
Oh,
BYU's going to give San Diego State trouble. They're actually both in the same well, no, they're not in the same conference. BYU used to be in the Mountain West, then they went to the West Coast Conference because they're cowards. But,
They run away.
I'm going to go San Diego State, honestly, but it's going to be close.
Let's do San Diego.
Do San Diego State? Okay. And what about you, Maestro?
I'll pick San Diego State.
Okay, cool. So we got Gonzaga and San Diego State in the Elite 8. That's a tough choice, but I think Gonzaga's going to flex their muscles and get into a Final Four, which they were shafted from last year, so I'm going to go with Gonzaga.
Yeah, Gonzaga.
Oh, yeah, there you go. And how about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Gonzaga.
Gonzaga. Okay, so that's our third Final Four team. All right, and last but certainly not least, we go to the South bracket. And basically, we are seeing Baylor as the #1 overall seed, taking on Boston. Baylor's going to kick the crap out of them.
Yeah. Did Arizona even get in?
We're getting to that, don't worry.
Yes.
You remember?
Oh, yes.
All right, so what do you think, Maestro?
Baylor.
All right. 8th-seeded Marquette against 9th-seeded Arizona. So here it is. Now, Marquette has been a solid team. Okay, here's how I'm going to say it. Arizona wins this game if they play well and get out to a great lead. Marquette wins this game if Arizona becomes Arizona. But I'm going to go with Arizona regardless.
Yeah, I'm going to do Arizona.
Go do Arizona?
I don't know if
All
we're gonna
right.
get much farther
How about
than
you,
that,
Maestro?
but-
You going to ride the Wildcats?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, cool. Ohio State and Yale. So Yale, the Ivy League tournament was the very first tournament canceled before everything was canceled by the coronavirus. So Yale had a solid season. Ohio State kind of had a schizophrenic season, but finished strong. They were considered one of the most complete teams in the entire tournament. Honestly, I'm going with Ohio State. I just feel like the only good 12 seed that stands a chance to upset this year was honestly going to be Stephen F. Austin, so I'm going to go with Ohio State. How about you, Pikachu?
Let's do Ohio.
Do Ohio State? Okay, and how about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Ohio State.
All right, cool. Butler comes in at a #4 seed, taking on a 13 seed Bradley. Bradley is out of the Missouri Valley Conference where Wichita State is from. I got to tell you, Bradley came out of nowhere and just snuck the fuck in, I'll tell you that, because they were only like a 4 seed in their tournament, which was shocking. Butler had a very good season. I think they're another Big East team, so that's a 4th Big East team that's, rating high there. Well, it's basically because they were beating the shit out of each other, so it's no surprise there. But I really think that, Bradley, I'll tell you this, Bradley could potentially upset Butler in this. They really could. I'm going to play it a little safer and go with Butler, though.
Let's do Bradley.
You're going to do Bradley? Ooh, okay. And how about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Butler.
Butler? Okay. So we got Virginia and Richmond. Now, Virginia's a 6 seed and Richmond's 11 seed. I've got a great story. Virginia's was the national champion last year. Virginia sunk really bad in the ACC. They had an offensive efficiency under 200 in the rankings, which stunk. They rode and won on their defense. And how do I know this? Notre Dame and Virginia got into overtime this year, and Virginia won by 1 stinking point. Here's what the score was at the end of regulation: 56-56. Guess what the final score was with an extra 5 minutes? Virginia won 59-58.
What?
3 points to 2 points in a 5-minute overtime. It was ugly.
Yes, ugly.
So, you know what I'm doing? Richmond was one of the last 4 to get in. They've got a good team. I'm picking Richmond over Virginia.
Let's do Richmond.
Yeah, my aunt lives in Richmond too, so there you go. How about you? Are you going with Virginia or Richmond?
I'll pick Richmond.
Richmond, okay. And Richmond's the capital of Virginia, so it's kind of ironic they're playing each other, yeah. So now we go to 3 seed Maryland and 14 seed UC Irvine. Last year, I rode the UC Irvine train, and they won in the first round.
Oh, yeah.
I picked them upsetting Oregon, but they fell short. Max Hazard played for UC Irvine and then transferred to Arizona this year. Sadly, he had personal reasons at the end of the season and didn't play. That's another thing that sucks, because this is his last season.
That's right.
So, UC Irvine, I'm not writing them this year. Maryland had a really good season. They got in the top 5 at one point, then they kind of sunk, and then they made a comeback. I'm going to go with Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland.
All right, how about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Maryland.
Okay. So then we've got 7-seeded Providence, 10-seeded LSU. LSU and Providence both overachieved this year. Honestly, I'm going to pick the upset. I'm going with LSU.
Yeah, let's do that.
You're going to do that too? All right, how about you there, Maestro?
I'll pick LSU.
Yeah, Louisiana State. There you go. Florida State gets a 2 seed. Really, really fantastic season. This is probably one of the best seasons I've seen Florida State have in ages. Honestly, I mean, they always usually get in the tournament, but man, what a season that they had. Woof. They play Northern Kentucky. I'm going Florida State.
Yeah, Florida.
All right. How about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Florida.
All right. Rematch between Baylor and Arizona. You guys are gonna laugh at me for this. I really think Arizona could win this game if their threes connect, if they play the same great defense that they played against Baylor. I would honestly pick, like, here's the thing. If Arizona was in that bracket against Kansas, Kansas would have mopped the floor with them.
Yeah.
If Arizona was in that bracket with Gonzaga, I think Gonzaga would probably win again.
Yeah.
If Arizona was in the bracket with Dayton, I think Arizona could have beaten Dayton.
Wow.
I think Arizona could potentially beat Baylor. I think Arizona would possibly at this point be angry enough and hungry enough on the count of decent shooting and a good D. If they combine both of those, I think Arizona would pull off the upset over Baylor.
We do have, what's his face?
Huh.
Nico.
Nico Mannion, yeah.
And,
who unfortunately
Najee
underachieved, and Zeke
yeah.
Najee and Josh Green. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with Arizona as a mid-seed upset.
Josh Ding.
Josh Ding, yeah.
So, yeah, Arizona.
Oh, you're going to go with Arizona, too?
Yeah.
Wow. How about you there, Maestro? Going to keep riding on the Wildcats?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Yeah, that's his national champ. So Arizona gets a Sweet 16, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So we got Ohio State taking on, was it Butler or Brett? I think he
said Butler.
He did? Maestro?
You guys chose Butler.
Butler, okay, yeah. So we got Ohio State and Butler. I'm going to go with Ohio State. Honestly, I feel Ohio State's a much more solid team than Butler.
Okay, then I'll do Ohio.
You'll do Ohio State? All right, how about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Ohio State.
Cool, okay. So we get to Richmond and Maryland.
Oh.
Now, this could potentially be another upset. I just think Maryland's going to have more in the tank in this game. I'm going to go with Maryland because they have a better offensive efficiency.
Let's do Richmond.
You're going to do Richmond upset.
Yeah,
nice. How about you there? How about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Maryland.
All right, cool.
Oh.
So we go Maryland in the
Bye-bye.
Sweet 16. All right. LSU and Florida State. I'm going with Florida State.
Yeah, Florida.
All right. How about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Florida.
All right, cool. So we get to Arizona and Ohio State. Now, these two teams, back in 2013, I want to say, yeah, 2013, these two teams met in the Sweet 16, and sadly, Ohio State won on a last-second three-pointer. In 2015, they met again in the second round, and Arizona cleaned their clocks. Even though they had D'Angelo Russell on their team. This year, this is kind of a coin toss because both these teams have been underachieving. But Arizona, I think, has been on a surge. Ohio State still has a really efficient offense. This is such a tough choice. Well, I guess I'll go with my alma mater, and I'll get Arizona in the Elite Eight.
Yeah,
Why not?
I'm going with Arizona, too.
How about you there, Maestro?
I'll pick Arizona.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So now we go to Maryland and Florida State.
Ooh.
Maryland can give Florida State a hard time. I'm riding with Florida State because I feel that they've got, I mean, this is like their season, I feel, and they've got a shot at a Final Four. And we'll talk about that in the next one there. I think Florida State wins this one.
Yeah, Florida.
All right, now how about you, Maestro?
I'll pick Florida.
All right. So we got Arizona, Florida State in the Elite Eight. So Miller makes his gajillionth Elite Eight, and sadly I feel they'll fall short.
Flop.
I mean, I think they're going to fall, yeah, because now Sean Miller has never been to a Final Four, unfortunately. I don't think they've got, I mean, I think what would happen is we would unfortunately see the most infamous headline that we see all year. Arizona falls short. I think they would sadly play their hearts out against Florida State, but fall short just like Notre Dame did twice.
Yep.
And they'll fall short. So I think Florida State gets in the Final Four. What about you,
Florida.
Pikachu? Florida State, yeah. So are you picking your Cats still?
Arizona, Florida?
Yeah, Florida State.
I'll go with the same answer you guys are going with.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you know, Arizona I just feel is going to fall short in that.
Yeah,
so the
Miller's-
Final Four, between Gonzaga and Florida State.
Ooh,
It's a really tough choice. I mean, both teams are solid. I'm going to go with Florida State, ironically enough, because I think Florida State's really hungry for this game. So I think it's going to be a Kansas-Florida State national championship. What about you, Pikachu?
I'm doing Gonzaga.
Well, that's no problem. That's still a legit pick. So Pikachu's going to Gonzaga. And how about you, Maestro?
Florida State.
Okay.
Wow.
So we have a Kansas-Florida State national championship. I'm going with Kansas because Bill Self's due for another national championship. I don't think they've won one since 2008. Florida State's never won one, but they've never been there before. I think they're going to flop just like Texas Tech did last year.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to go with Kansas as a national champion.
Oh, yes, Kansas.
Kansas? All right. And how about you there, Maestro?
I'll go with Kansas.
All right. So Kansas is what we pick as our national champions in the simulated picks. So not too crazy, honestly, of like, of rounds and whatnot. Usually we just feel the upper seeds have a bigger chance, but it's March, anything can happen, but we're not going to find out, sadly.
We could end up having another, what is it, UNBC?
UMBC,
yes.
Maryland, Baltimore County.
Yeah.
First team in the history, a 16 seed to beat a 1 seed, and that was Virginia
insane.
2 years ago, and then Virginia gets revenge and wins it all the next year.
I was hoping they were going to fucking do really good.
Yep.
Or go farther than that, but that was fucking insane.
Yeah, Kansas State that year had an easy jump into the Sweet 16 as a result. Yeah, I wanted UMBC to do a Loyola Chicago so bad, so yeah. Well, that pretty much does it there. So, that's it for our picks for the simulated bracket. Yeah. So at least we got to have fun. Around this time, we would obviously be watching Bracketology and, making our picks and doing a recording of this and everything. But c'est la vie, my friend. It's just like in the Ninth Gate where he loses the Book of the Fire. C'est la vie, my friend. All right, well, that does it for that. Well, pretty much all squared away on that. Any closing statements, anybody?
Not really. It was great to have a blind musician here.
Yeah, it was really good to have the Maestro on board. Yeah, we were looking forward to other things in the future. We didn't have to get too political today and whatnot, which is good, but at least we got to poke some fun at things. So, I got Wednesdays and weekends off again currently. Probably going to be looking at another recording for the future, maybe continuing Dividend, because we've got to get to the continuation of the wonderful dialogue in that game.
Oh, God.
And we'll just, we'll get Pikachu ramped up for Mortal Kombat, so we'll get that going too. So we might do like a double-header recording if we've got the time. We'll see how our role plays are going to go and everything like that. And we'll get Maestro in for another roundtable discussion again there. So I think probably what we'll do is, if we do go over to Boku's house, we'll probably bring the microphone over, and just because all I have to do is record there, and we heard him just fine on the recording. Hopefully you guys heard it all the way through. But yeah, this is great. This is really great to have another member of the Knights of the Black Lodge aboard.
And we gotta get him to watch Twin Peaks eventually too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, well, hey, it was fun, and now we're going to go on with our lives and go do shit. So this is Gray Fox 37.
And Pikachu 23.
And Maestro.
And Maestro. And we're... It's okay, we're signing off.